The United States of America started as a bold experiment in democracy. The Founding Fathers, escaping the tyranny of European monarchies, envisioned a nation built on freedom and self-governance. The Declaration of Independence in 1776 proclaimed these ideals to the world. This revolutionary spirit, combined with vast natural resources, set the stage for the nation's extraordinary rise. The U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1788, established a system of government based on the separation of powers and the rule of law, providing stability and fostering investment. Early leaders like Alexander Hamilton recognized the importance of a strong economy. Hamilton's financial policies laid the groundwork for economic expansion. The U.S. embraced free market principles, encouraging entrepreneurship and innovation. Westward expansion, fueled by the spirit of manifest destiny, opened up vast territories rich in resources. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the size of the nation, providing ample land for agriculture and settlement. The discovery of gold in California in 1848 drew waves of immigrants seeking their fortune. This westward migration further fueled the nation's economic engine and diversified its population. The Industrial Revolution, taking root in the 19th century, transformed the U.S. into a manufacturing powerhouse. Innovations like the cotton gin and the steam engine increased productivity and fueled economic growth. The U.S. faced its first major internal crisis with the Civil War, from 1861 to 1865. The war, fought over slavery and states' rights, tested the very fabric of the nation. However, the Union victory ultimately strengthened the federal government and reaffirmed the principles of freedom and equality. The abolition of slavery marked a turning point in American history, paving the way for a more just and equitable society. Following the Civil War, the U.S. experienced a period of rapid industrialization and economic growth. The expansion of railroads connected the vast country, facilitating trade and communication. New industries emerged, including steel, oil, and finance, creating immense wealth and transforming American society. This economic boom attracted immigrants from around the globe, seeking better opportunities and contributing to the nation's cultural diversity. The U.S. began to assert itself on the world stage in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The Spanish-American War in 1898 marked the country's emergence as a global power, expanding its influence in the Caribbean and the Pacific. The U.S. pursued a policy of open door in China, advocating for equal trade rights and opposing the division of China into spheres of influence by European powers. World War I, which began in Europe in 1914, initially saw the U.S. remain neutral. However, German submarine warfare and the Zimmermann telegram, a secret diplomatic communication intercepted by British intelligence, shifted public opinion in favor of intervention. The U.S. declared war on Germany in 1917, tipping the balance in favor of the Allies. The Roaring Twenties following the war saw a period of unprecedented economic prosperity in the U.S. Technological advancements like the automobile and the radio transformed American life, while mass production techniques made consumer goods more affordable. However, this boom was followed by the devastating Great Depression of the 1930s, a global economic crisis that shook the foundations of the American economy. The Great Depression presented a formidable challenge to the U.S., but it also became a catalyst for significant government intervention in the economy. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal programs aimed to provide relief, recovery, and reform. The New Deal expanded the role of the federal government, introducing Social Security, unemployment insurance, and public works projects, fundamentally changing the relationship between the government and its citizens. World War II, erupting in Europe in 1939, once again drew the U.S. into the global conflict. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941 galvanized American resolve, and the nation entered the war with full force. The U.S. played a pivotal role in the Allied victory, demonstrating its military and industrial might on a global scale. The aftermath of World War II saw the U.S. emerge as a global superpower. The war had devastated Europe and Asia, leaving the U.S. as the only major industrialized nation with its infrastructure intact. The U.S. took the lead in shaping the post-war world, establishing the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund institutions designed to promote international cooperation and prevent future conflicts. With the defeat of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, a new global rivalry emerged between the US and the Soviet Union. The Cold War, lasting from the late 1940s until the early 1990s, saw these two superpowers engage in an ideological struggle for global dominance. The US, championing democracy and capitalism, faced off against the Soviet Union, promoting communism. The Cold War was characterized by an arms race, proxy wars, and a constant threat of nuclear annihilation. The US pursued a policy of containment, seeking to prevent the spread of communism through military alliances like NATO and economic aid to developing nations. The Korean War, from 1950 to 1953, and the Vietnam War, from 1954 to 1975, were two major proxy conflicts of this era. The Cold War also fueled a technological competition between the US and the Soviet Union. Both superpowers poured resources into research and development, leading to breakthroughs in rocketry, space exploration, and computing. The Soviet Union's launch of Sputnik, the first artificial satellite in 1957, spurred the US to invest heavily in its space program, culminating in the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969, a defining moment in human history.